It's hard to believe that the rugged beauty of Jay Cooke State Park outside Carlton, Minnesota, was difficult to enjoy until the 1930s, when the young men of the Civilian Conservation Corps created the type of park amenities we all take for granted.
Jay Cooke State Park is just south of Duluth, about 20 minutes, and we are on the St. Louis River within the Northern Highlands Forest. The park began in 1915 with an original donation of land of about 2,200 acres. That was smaller than what we are today. We're at 8,800 acres. When the park was first established in 1915, one of the historic structures here was the old railroad bed from the Lake Superior and Mississippi Railroad. That ran from St. Paul up to Duluth, and so came right through where the park is today. So there was a place then, after that rail was abandoned in the park, for them to just lay a road right across that rail bed. So as people are driving in on Highway 210, a lot of times they are traveling that original rail route. All that would have been here was a road in, and that was it. We didn't have any houses, we didn't have any office buildings or campground. The signs that we have from back then actually say wildlife refuge instead of state park. When the CCC boys would have come, well, the very first project that they tackled was building the swinging bridge. They worked on establishing a picnic grounds for us at Oldenburg Point. And so there they built a bathroom building and an open picnic shelter, as well as some trails for people to walk out on in that area. They worked on some road building, and then in 1939, the second crew of CCC boys came in and they worked on what we call today the River Inn Interpretive Center. When it was built back in 1942, the guys would have just simply referred to it as the refectory, which meant it was a picnic shelter and a place for people to go get food. There was a kitchen here, a dining room counter, and dining tables. So it was the only restaurant of sorts that was built in Minnesota by the CCC. When we look at the history of our state park system, we see a lot of things pop up in the 1930s. We didn't have a lot going on. You know, here in the park, we didn't have buildings. We didn't have a lot of places for people to go. And so to be able to develop these recreational resources, and people are still enjoying them all these years later, I think that's part of their legacy. There's a little something for everybody. Jay Cooke State Park has 50 miles of trails, so there's everything from easy trails to extremely difficult ones. So a lot of people like to come for that. If they're out for a 25-mile walk, they can take a 25-mile walk here in the park. I think Grand Portage Trail is probably my favorite trail in the park. It takes you across little stream beds that you have to walk across and up and down through the forest. It's also one of the historic routes of the Voyagers and of the Ojibwa Indians that still live in this area. So there's a nice sense of history as you're walking on it as well. We have bike trails, both paved and mountain biking, horse trails. In the wintertime, we switch those trails over to groomed cross-country ski trails and then snowshoeing. So a lot of recreational opportunities here in the park. We do sometimes see some whitewater kayakers, but you have to be really good at what you do. The average person, if you don't understand what I mean when I say it's a Class 4 river, you shouldn't be on the river. We have a campground here in the park, everything from drive-in campsites to camper cabins that are open year-round, and even backpacking sites where people will walk in 2 to 4 miles. So again, a lot of different opportunities for people there. I notice a lot of photographers in the park. It's a beautiful park and a lot of different places to go photograph. But I think my favorite part of the park is it's large enough that if you're in the northeast corner of the park, it's going to look very different than the southeast corner of the park because of the geological formations. We have 2 different geological formations here, which contributes many different forest types and many different pieces of terrain. It surprises, I think, people who have never been here before. They don't expect such a rugged terrain here in Minnesota. So if there's any reason to come, it's that rocky riverbed and our hillsides and the ups and the downs and the unexpected.
Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. The North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.